What is the most expensive thing you've ever lost? Maybe it was money, a career opportunity, a relationship, a dream, a season of your life you wish you could get back. Most people immediately think about financial loss when they hear the word cost. But Jesus asked a question that goes much deeper, a question that forces us to examine what we're trading away every single day. Mark 8:36 says, "What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul?" Think about that. Gain the world, lose your soul. Jesus wasn't talking about money alone. He was talking about value, about priorities, about hidden exchanges, because every habit costs something. Every decision costs something. Every pattern costs something. The question is whether we're aware of the price. Many habits look harmless because the payment isn't immediate. The bill arrives later, years later, sometimes decades later. And by then, people realize they paid far more than they intended. Today, we're uncovering 7 habits that cost more than you think. And the final habit may be costing more people their purpose than any other. Let's begin. Number 1. Living for immediate gratification. This habit feels good in the moment. That's why it's so dangerous. Immediate gratification promises quick rewards. Quick comfort, quick pleasure, quick relief, quick satisfaction. The problem is that what feels good now often costs more later. Esau learned this lesson the hard way. Hungry and impatient, he traded his birthright for a single meal. One meal, one moment, one decision, and afterward he realized the cost was far greater than the benefit. Many people repeat this pattern every day. They sacrifice long-term growth for short-term comfort, long-term peace for temporary pleasure, long-term purpose for immediate convenience. And because consequences are delayed, the trade seems reasonable at first. But eventually, the bill arrives. The wise ask a different question. Not, what do I want right now? But, what will this choice cost me later? Because some things are simply too valuable to exchange for temporary satisfaction. Number 2. Constantly comparing yourself to others. Comparison looks harmless. In fact, many people consider it normal. But comparison quietly drains joy, gratitude, confidence, and peace. Think about how it works. You see someone's success, someone's blessing, someone's opportunity, someone's achievement, and suddenly your own life feels smaller. Your own progress feels slower. Your own blessings feel insignificant. Nothing in your life changed. Only your perspective changed. That's the danger. Comparison convinces people they're losing when they're actually growing. It blinds them to God's unique work in their own journey. The disciples struggled with this. Even while following Jesus, they compared positions, influence, and importance. And Jesus repeatedly redirected their focus, because comparison steals attention from your assignment. You cannot fully pursue your calling while obsessing over someone else's. The cost? Lost gratitude, lost focus, lost contentment, lost momentum, and often years of unnecessary frustration. Comparison doesn't improve your future. It distracts you from it. Number 3. Avoiding difficult conversations. Most people dislike conflict. That's understandable. But avoiding necessary conversations often creates larger problems. Small misunderstandings become major divisions. Minor frustrations become deep resentment. Simple issues become complicated wounds. Why? Because what remains unaddressed rarely remains unchanged. It usually grows. Relationships suffer because people stay silent. Families struggle because truth remains unspoken. Friendships weaken because assumptions replace communication. The Bible repeatedly emphasizes reconciliation, honesty, and speaking truth in love. Not because difficult conversations are enjoyable, because they're necessary. Many people think avoidance protects peace. Often it only postpones problems, and postponed problems usually become more expensive. The cost isn't just relational, it's emotional, mental, spiritual. The longer truth is delayed, the heavier it becomes. That's why wisdom addresses issues before they become crises. Number 4. Living without reflection. Modern culture celebrates activity, movement, productivity, constant engagement. But many people are so busy living that they rarely stop to evaluate where they're going. And that's dangerous, because direction matters more than speed. Imagine driving a car at high speed in the wrong direction. The faster you go, the further you get from your destination. The same is true spiritually. Many people are active, but not intentional, busy, but not reflective. They repeat patterns without examining them, repeat mistakes without learning from them, repeat habits without questioning them. David often paused to examine his heart. The Psalms reveal deep reflection, self-awareness, and honesty before God. Growth requires that. Without reflection, years can pass while the same issues remain. The cost? Missed lessons, repeated mistakes, delayed growth, lost opportunities. Because what is never examined is rarely improved. Number 5. Surrounding yourself with the wrong influences. Influence is one of the most underestimated forces in life, because it works gradually, quietly, almost invisibly, until one day its effects become obvious. The people around you shape your thinking. The voices you listen to shape your beliefs. The environments you spend time in shape your expectations. Scripture says, bad company corrupts good character. Notice the certainty, not might corrupt, corrupts. Many people assume they're unaffected by their environment. But over time, influence accumulates. Negative people create negative thinking. Faith-filled people strengthen faith. Wise people increase wisdom. Foolish influences create foolish outcomes. Here's the hidden cost. Wrong influences rarely damage your life overnight. They slowly alter your direction. And a small change in direction eventually creates a massive difference in destination. The cost isn't always immediate, but it is significant, because the wrong environment can delay years of growth. Number 6, ignoring small compromises. Few people wake up intending to ruin their lives. Major failures usually begin with minor compromises. Small shortcuts, small excuses, small rationalizations, small acts of disobedience. The danger is that small compromises rarely feel dangerous. They feel manageable, justifiable, temporary. But compromise has a way of expanding. One exception becomes a habit. One habit becomes a lifestyle. One lifestyle creates consequences. Samson didn't lose his strength in a single moment. A series of compromises led him there. Solomon didn't drift from wisdom overnight. Compromise accumulated over time. And the same thing happens today. Many people tolerate things they once resisted, accept things they once questioned, normalize things they once avoided, not realizing the cost is increasing. The enemy rarely asks for everything at once. He often begins with something small, because small compromises eventually produce large consequences. The wise recognize this early, and they guard what matters before the damage occurs. Number 7, neglecting your relationship with God. This is the most expensive habit of all, because every other habit becomes more dangerous when this one exists. Many people don't intentionally abandon God. They simply become distracted, busy, occupied, preoccupied. One missed prayer becomes several. One missed day in scripture becomes weeks. One season of spiritual neglect becomes a lifestyle. And because the change is gradual, it often goes unnoticed. Here's what most people miss. When your relationship with God weakens, everything else becomes harder. Discernment weakens, peace weakens, wisdom weakens, strength weakens, perspective weakens. The connection that was designed to sustain every area of life becomes neglected. And eventually people wonder why everything feels heavier, why anxiety feels stronger, why decisions feel harder, why peace feels distant. The answer isn't always complicated. Sometimes the source of strength has simply been neglected. Mark 8:36 reminds us that some exchanges are never worth making. You can gain success and lose intimacy, gain recognition and lose peace, gain possessions and lose purpose, gain achievement and lose perspective. And Jesus asks, what good is it? What good is it if the cost exceeds the reward? That's the question every believer must ask. So let's return to where we started. Every habit costs something. The question is whether you're paying attention to the price. Maybe you've been choosing immediate gratification. Maybe comparison has stolen your joy. Maybe difficult conversations have been avoided. Maybe reflection has disappeared. Maybe unhealthy influences have shaped your thinking. Maybe small compromises have been tolerated. Maybe your relationship with God has slowly drifted into the background. If so, today is not about guilt. It's about awareness, because awareness creates change. The good news is that habits can be broken, patterns can be changed, directions can be corrected, and God specializes in restoration. No matter how much time has been lost, no matter how many mistakes have been made, no matter how costly certain habits have become, His grace remains available. His wisdom remains available. His direction remains available. But the first step is recognizing what the habits are truly costing you, because some prices are too high, some trades are too expensive, some exchanges are not worth making. And Jesus wants something better for you, a life filled with purpose, peace, wisdom, growth, and eternal perspective. Mark 8:36 remains one of the most important questions ever asked. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? That's not merely a warning, it's an invitation to value what truly matters, to protect what truly matters, and to stop trading eternal things for temporary rewards. If this message spoke to you, type, "It's not worth the cost," in the comments below. Not as a slogan, but as a declaration that you're choosing what matters most. And remember this, the wisest people are not those who gain the most. They're the ones who refuse to lose what matters most while gaining everything else.